Practically defined, but what I was saying,
that sounds like it's me. Where's that coming from?
More organized.
Is that your side?
At the beginning of the transfer window.
Where's that coming from?
We're the ones that.
Oh yeah, okay. So I must come from what I said. Sorry, that's my bad. Sorry, guys. yo, guys. Bit of technical sound issues there. It's Old Man G here, back again. I'm joined again, for some of you who might know him, Ravish, who's part of the We Talk Ajax team. Obviously, it's official that Antony has signed for Manchester United. As you can see with Fabrizio Romano, we'll talk about it a deal, €100 million fee, contract until June 2027. So that's what is it, 22? So that's a 5-year deal, isn't it? Up with options until 2028. But I thought that it'd be good because I've already had my own small reservations of the deal, not necessarily because of the price, but how the whole thing was handled. And I thought it'd be a good idea to get Ravish on to give his thoughts and perspectives as an Ajax fan on how Ajax fans feel about this deal, and then maybe also talk a bit about what Antony can obviously bring to Manchester United as well. We might have a bit of a tactical analysis breakdown towards the end. So first of all, Ravish, how are you doing? How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling well, mate. Thank you very much for having me again in the show. Happy that the saga is finally over. In Amsterdam, we are happy that because we had our third competition match and we won. So it was the fourth against SC Utrecht.
Yes,
it's always a difficult opponent for Ajax, especially going away there. But we had a quite easy afternoon, and we got the 3 points back in Amsterdam. So yeah, from that perspective, I'm really happy. And I'm also happy that the saga of Antony is finally over, because it took too long. It took so many energy off the primary thing, and that's football. And I'm happy for him that he got his transfer. And I hope that you guys will enjoy him like we did in Amsterdam.
Thank you so much. Let me just quickly in the comments. Shout out to his comments. Shout out to Christian as well. Shout out to Manu Milan Barcelona wins, and looks like Real Madrid about to win as well. Gogo says hello, bro. Thank you, doing well, buddy. Christian says congratulations on Antony. Solo says hola, yes. Thank you guys in chat. Ilya was in chat as well. Said hi, Red Devil Studio. Well, by all means, guys. Obviously, for those who obviously United fans who aren't, Ravish is here obviously to take any questions that you might have specifically about Antony and just the whole sort of situation. So, but I guess I'll start, and I think the elephant in the room is that obviously Antony, he gave, I can't remember the magazine, but I remember him giving an interview that was kind of published
Yeah.
about his thoughts about the whole ordeal. He wasn't obviously turning up to training as well. So as an Ajax fan, like, how do you feel that about this whole saga about Antony as a player, and just how the whole thing was managed?
So first of all, we are not naive.
Mm,
Ajax is a familiar club. It's also familiar on the fact that they have a lot of youth playing in the first team, and also that we have a lot of talents that at some time they need to level up and go to a bigger club. So that's the first thing. But the annoying part of this was the fact that it kept going on. It kept going on. It kept going on. Then United wanted to offer 80 million. Then they wanted to offer 85 million. Then it became 90. Then it became 95.
mm,
And as soon as now we are approaching the deadline of the transfer window, as a club, you also have to stand firm to say we'll do it or we'll not do it. And so I'm happy that they have took the offer. And for us, it's now important. What will they get back from Antony? Because with Antony, we're losing one of the important players of last season, and not especially not that he was real important in the Eredivisie, but in Champions League he was amazing together with Haller. So you're losing a lot of goals, assists, and it's difficult to fill up that gap because Antony is a different player like Hakim Ziyech, who was also mentioned the last couple of days in the
mm,
media as a possible replacement.
mm,
So yeah, the fact that it kept on going, and I wasn't surprised that Anthony would play it hard by saying to Schreuder, our head coach, that he is not mentally able to play against Sparta, because I already knew that his entourage saw what Manchester United offered them with salary and all that stuff. So I knew that he was hoping to sign that contract because for him it's everything is he's going up in everything. The
mm,
only thing I'm doubting is if he's already ready for the Premier League because
mm,
the way he's playing in the Eredivisie, with all due respect, but if you see how teams sometimes defend against Ajax, it's
mm,
quite poor. And of course, he's a street soccer player. The
mm,
moves
mm,
he has, the explosive he has, but the Premier League they have more physical defenders. You saw with Martinez the first two
yeah.
matches, he really needed the time to adapt about
Mm,
how the Premier League is going. So I hope that the United fans give him the time that he needs, and that he
mm,
also understands what is expected from him uh, playing for Manchester United.
mm. Thank you very much, Ravish. Like, I always like to love having you on, so because you give a much, because I think as fans, especially when you buy a player, you can get caught up in the fact that you get a signing, but you don't actually take a step back and actually take a logical approach to the situation. And you've rightly said, so that, I I had reservations on the price in the first place. I completely agree with you that that this, in my opinion, should have been sorted out in the beginning of May, maybe June sort of time, wrapped up, done. So at the very least, Ajax could have been able to have time to actually find a replacement, then that would have been sorted. That would have been the ideal if United were going to go to Ajax. But I suspect, at least what I think has happened, is that United spent most of their energy on trying to sign Frankie de Jong for whatever reason, a player that clearly didn't want to come to Manchester United. Months upon months trying to debate, trying to sign, and because it seems that United are not going to get Frankie de Jong, that budget that was dedicated to going given to Frank de Jong has now been siphoned and changed to obviously bid for Antony. Even though
Well,
I believe, sorry, go on.
Well, I find it also poor managing of Manchester United itself.
Yes.
Of course, I can understand, and when you have a new coach, he has a different philosophy, and he wants the players that can fit his philosophy. But
Mm,
what I can't understand is that since Alex Ferguson left the club, you guys got several managers with several demands and with a lot of players who aren't worth wearing the Manchester jersey. So
mm,
the fact that you got such a big heritage of players of different coaches and still wanted to give Ten Hag the players that he needed, I
mm,
found it poor managing because you guys, at least the scouting, I think the scouting wasn't informed about the fact that Ten Hag wanted Martinez and that Ten Hag is aiming
mm,
for Frankie de Jong and now for Antony. Because, like I said, I can understand why Ten Hag wants to work with these players again because these were the players that brought him success in Amsterdam. But
mm,
he needs also to understand that when you're going a level up, the demands are much higher than they were at Ajax.
mm,
United is a club that hasn't been champion for more than 10 years.
mm,
United has to fight the fact that the money from the Middle East, that I'm talking about
mm,
Manchester
mm,
City with Abu Dhabi, Paris
mm,
Saint-Germain with Qatar. You had
mm.
Chelsea before with the Russian money. That they
Even
always
Newcastle.
even Newcastle now with Saudi Arabia. Well, I
Mm.
think Newcastle is still not uh, a
Well,
real
there
threat for
it's
United.
it's more the fact that, like, they're, I mean, and I'll go on to this later. So, but if you actually look at the signings that Newcastle have made this season and the
Yeah,
investments and what
okay,
they brought
but
in,
but if
but
you look at the head start that United has on Newcastle, before
mm,
Newcastle will find a way to win prizes, it will take some time. You see that
yeah, of
with City.
course.
It
Mm,
took millions of pounds and years before City became the club they are nowadays.
mm, mm, mm,
United have already lost that battle because the Glazers didn't want to invest, or they thought we buy United, we're gonna make the profit on it, and then the hell with the fans. So that's
mm.
my first opinion. If you
Yeah,
go
of course.
back if you go back to signing Anthony, the fact that United, I wanted to say you guys, but that United was so desperate that they were aiming only for De Jong and Anthony, that shows that there is no philosophy behind
Mm,
this. It's
mm.
more that Anachke went to who's the I don't know who's the CEO right now, Woodward.
No, it's Mercer, John Mercer,
Yeah,
John Mercer.
John Murtha. He went to
Mm,
them. He said, "Listen, I want Anthony, whatever it takes," without thinking about the consequences.
mm,
Because you guys bought Sancho 2 years ago. Sancho is not directly the same player, but he has
mm,
the same qualities. He got speed, no, he got pace, he got
mm,
technique, he got skills. Anthony got
mm,
the same, but Sancho knows what's asking to play for a big club, and I
mm.
believe that. Yeah, what will you do with Sancho when you now have Anthony?
That's a good question. I guess I would say that Manchester United definitely need forwards because whether it's because the rumors are that Ronaldo is going, and then Martial, who is there. Martial is very, very injury prone. So, and then Alanga, who comes into the team, is still developing. He's still a
He's
kid.
blind, man. He's blind.
You know,
I saw him against Southampton. He got the
yeah,
pace, but he doesn't got the few that's needed.
yeah,
Also, what really surprised me, because everybody here in the Netherlands watched the match against Liverpool, because
mm,
everybody was curious what will Ten Hag do right now. The system
mm,
that he played against Liverpool showed
mm,
that the players were real comfortable playing in that system. You
mm,
saw the Rashford. The only thing I would have changed, but that was my opinion, was maybe I started it with the Ronaldo
mm,
as deep striker and
mm,
Bruno a little behind him, because I believe that
mm,
when that those two have a great connection with each other, and with the
mm,
speed of Sancho and Rashford around them,
mm,
you could have taken Liverpool earlier down than they did. But
mm,
nonetheless, the first goal that Sancho scored, the way that he controlled the ball, took the time to place the ball in the exact corner, showed his class and his talent. And also, for me, it was a disappointment how Big Verge didn't defend, because it looked like he was looking at each form. What the hell should I do? But okay, we're
mm,
taking a sidestep. But going back to the philosophy of United, I think for us in Amsterdam, we're happy with the amount of 100 million. But if you
mm.
look at the long term for United, this was a rubbish signing. for that amount. For that
for that
amount.
amount. For that amount. And that's, and like I said, that's fair. I mean, I'll just quickly just take some comments before we go back. Thank you to all of us watching. Remember to like the vid, it goes a long way for the algorithm, guys. Let's have a look. Yeah, oh yeah, it's been updated. It's 95 million guarantee with add-ons. So Paredes, RDS, yeah. So Ten Hag's first choice trying was always Frankie De Jong, but Frankie wants to stay at Barcelona. Yeah, exactly. But that should have been communicated to, you know, what I don't understand about that Paredes is that, like, why does that take 3 or 4 months from May to now to come up to that conclusion? That's what doesn't make any sense, you know. This
Well,
is answer. Oh, sorry, go on.
um,
Go
I
on.
read the story before I entered the broadcast. So Mike Verwij, he is one of the colleagues of Fabrizio Romano.
Mm,
He made a story this evening about Antony,
mm,
because Antony was had made some reservations in a restaurant in the city of Amsterdam,
mm.
where he wanted to celebrate the fact that he would sign for United. And I heard you saying 95 million, but I saw in that article that United, if we're counting it back to euros, will pay, including bonuses, 102 million euros for Antony.
Mm,
So that's the latest about the amount of the transfer. And
mm,
yeah, Anthony thought he could celebrate it a little anonymously with his friends, but the
mm.
media found out that he had booked a table in a Brazilian restaurant. And
Fine.
when he saw the press coming, he he left directly and went to his home to celebrate the party over there.
Right. um, so I mean, what? So obviously, as an Ajax fan,
Yeah.
um, like I guess let's just make a person's a home because we've obviously talked about this about United in the situation, and yeah, you know,
Mhm.
United is a joke in terms of its recruitment and what have you. But as an Ajax fan, like, how do you feel that Ajax is will be impacted by the loss of Antony? And so that's the first question, and then the second
Mhm.
question is, how do you feel? How do you feel about, like, as do you feel disrespected by Anthony? Do you feel like, are you just glad that the guy is gone, or is there going to be some sort of semblance of loss because he's gone, not there?
No, first of all, I was honored that I was in the Johan Cruyff Arena when he played his last match against Groningen, because
Mm,
that match he was so good. He made actions. He made a terrific goal. So we were all happy with Anthony.
mm,
Disrespected? No.
mm,
Of course, we would all have seen that it would have been different. That
mm,
both clubs and Anthony were able to finish the deal off before he started muting.
mm,
But um, yeah, I think this is also part of football nowadays. That if a contract isn't holy anymore,
mm,
you sign a contract for several years, you
mm,
get you get a salary, and suddenly a better team is coming.
mm,
It's telling your agent you can earn 15 times more than you're doing now, and yeah,
mm,
that's it. And
mm,
we also, that's what I also told friends of mine, we don't need to forget that Anthony is a bred footballer. That means
mm,
he came from Brazil.
mm,
He didn't have the best youth like we had here in Europe. He
mm,
always needed to fight for living, and now he can help his family
mm,
support with the money that he's earning. So we all knew that Ajax wouldn't be the last club for Anthony, but yeah, we
mm.
hoped that we could enjoy a little more from him, because we're playing Champions League, right?
Of
You
course.
guys are
Yeah,
playing you guys are playing Europe League, and we are
exactly.
having we're having a great group. We're
Mm,
facing Rangers, Liverpool, and Napoli. So
yes. Yeah.
I could understand why the coach said on Thursday when the draw was that I'm convinced that he will stay. But when I saw that interview, I thought by myself, dude, in what world are you living? We already know that he will leave the club, in a
Mm,
good way or in a bad way. So I
mm,
think that now the disappointment is in Amsterdam. The
mm,
disappointment is huge. But I
mm,
think when Ajax is able to find a good replacer for Antony, then everybody will give him a big cheer when he comes to the stadium and say goodbye to the fans.
Okay. That's good. Okay, so that's good. Sorry, let me just quickly get some comments now. By the way, if you guys have any questions for Ravish, sorry, as an Ajax fan about Antony, please let us know in the comment. We're taking your questions in the comments as well. So let me quickly. I think I looked at that.
And you know what I'm also finding real strange? The World Cup is coming, and
Yes.
I'm not sure if he will be already one of the starting 11. Uh, and here in Amsterdam, it's not that
Mm,
he has a status. He has the status like Tadic has, but
mm,
he was one of the first four players that Schreuder would sign on the board when he's making the starting 11. So
mm,
I think he should. It will cost him time to adapt to England,
mm,
to the football, and it might be a dangerous choice now leaving Ajax, because knowing that he wants to go to Qatar
mm,
to win
mm,
the title with the Seleção. So
mm,
in my opinion, I would say maybe I would have waited until I played at the World Cup, because I think he would become more worth. But
mm.
yeah, like I said, it's football.
Ilias, a good win. So Nala's obviously happy. Shouts now as a member of the channel. Can't believe we got him. What a signing, man. And Ilya obviously says, "Isn't nothing 100 for Antony? Nunes, Zaku, Floppish was 100. I assume he's referring to Jack Grealish, who City signed for 100 million, who seems to be nowhere to be seen.
Yeah,
And
but I
I'm
think
the same.
but I think yeah, and we'll keep it short about Grealish, but
Mm,
it's I think the fact that the clubs have paid so much for him,
mm.
it's not it's not to blame to the player,
Of
because
course.
he's just playing,
Mm,
and that the fact that his price tag is so high
mm.
brings a lot of pressure with it. You see it
Yeah,
you see it also with Maguire.
yeah,
It's not that Maguire asked for United to pay 85 million for him.
yeah,
It's just the market at the moment is so crazy that yeah, you see it with Antony. So I'm really curious how he will, uh, yeah, how he will do with the high pressure
yeah.
which is on him right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no doubt that, and probably probably closer to the probably next week when the transfer window closes, we'll do a show,
Finally,
guys. What what is the Manchester? What would be the best Manchester United 11? Because it's interesting to speak about the Brazilian national team. United obviously signed Casemiro earlier last week. Fred is obviously there,
so
and
I
I
think
think.
the integration will go quite
Mm,
quickly, because
mm,
Fred is playing for United for many years,
yeah,
and together with Casimiro and Anthony, they could
yeah,
become the three Brazilian Musketeers if
exactly.
everything fits well. So if Fred is able to learn him what is asked for playing for Manchester
Mm,
United, you guys will gonna have a lot of fun with him. But
yeah,
still, it's a young guy. He's also a little explosive.
mm,
He has a lot of pace. You
mm,
can send him away in the
mm,
depth,
mm,
and he can score goals. That's
mm.
something for sure. And
Mm.
but I believe that United still needs a number 9, because
Yes.
Rashford isn't the striker.
No, he's, he's
Ronaldo is
probably
whining like a
he's,
baby.
yeah, he's probably
And
going.
like I said before, Ronaldo should stay at United and say against all his
Mm,
teammates, listen, last
mm,
season we didn't manage to qualify for the Champions League. I'm I want that you guys do it with me. We're gonna qualify for the Champions League, whatever it takes. And coming
mm,
season, I'm gonna play with you in the Champions League instead of nah, I wanna go, I wanna go, I wanna go. Because his status is now a wanker instead of the top player he was, in my opinion.
yeah. Let me just quickly just read some comments again. We don't have any Congress. We don't have any money next year. Glazers out. Well, that is a thing. Because I think right now United spending would have probably it must have been at least 200 million net at this point. If you're going to spend 100 million on Antony, 70 million on Casemiro, think 15 million. Yeah, it must be 200 plus 15 million on Malacia. And then certainly 200. It must be, if you include Lisandro Martinez, it must be in excess of 250. And the only player we've sold is Pereira, and obviously Bayer's gone on loan to Marseille, though I think there's an option to buy there, so he'll probably get bought as well. And that's it. So unless Manchester United are making in the next couple of days a lot of significant outgoings where they were selling players like Bryson, like United have spent a lot this transfer. And I know there are a lot of United fans. Oh yeah, they spent 250 million. They're great or something. But to be honest, the manner in which Manchester United have spent and it still reeks of how they've mismanaged funds in previous years, where instead of having a clear strategy, we've just overspent to try and appease a coach. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I don't care if it's 100. It's fine. Also, big up Solo from United Gentleman. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Why the meltdown about the price? Don't let the banter get to you. Let's remember we can invest 200 million a year smartly if we get the Glazers out. That's fair. Shout out to Luke. Come on, hope you're doing well. You're in the CL to make up the numbers. Oh, Mo, come on. That's disrespectful. No, we can't do that. Ajax, to be honest, have got to a Champions League semi-final recently. When was the last time United got to a Champions League semi-final, Mo?
Yeah, well, I understand this question, but you guys need to understand that we are not we have not poor management at United. We have a coach that was with us for 4 years. It took him some time, but we played the semi-final against Tottenham. Of course, we lost it, but I didn't see United after winning against us Europa League. And you guys played with Mourinho. You played rubbish football at that time, and it still didn't develop very well. So, yeah, you can say you make up the numbers, but you guys are paying 100 million, not us.
Yeah, I'm not going to be in the bantering thing right now, Thomas, because United is still whatever this. And actually, I'll talk about it a bit when the transfer deadline window shows, that.
You can invite me then also, then we can discuss.
Yeah, no, it'd be good. It'd be good inviting quite a few because it'll almost be like a review summary of different clubs, So because quite frankly, I'm happy that we've got the signing. Of course, I am. And I'm looking forward to seeing what it will do. So, but it's testament to how United have run, where for that amount of money, you could if there was reasonable scouting, you probably would have been able to sign a right back, another midfield, and a winger for that amount with reasonable scouting.
I agree. So I read what also Fabrizio Romano said, that the signing will be happening tomorrow of his contract.
Yes.
You think he will be able to join United in the first match against who?
So we play against. We play Leicester and Arsenal this coming week. So I think that it will be, because what day is it today? It's Sunday. I think it'd be pushing it for him to think this ought to be resolved for Arsenal. Maybe on the bench. He's definitely not going to be ready for Leicester on Thursday, but I don't think we'll need him for Leicester because this is a team that lost to a 10-man Chelsea from the 20th minute, which 2-0, which I didn't quite understand. But for Arsenal, I think he'd be very, very, very useful. But I suspect that for Arsenal, he'll probably be on the bench, and then
Yeah,
maybe
I think so.
I would suspect.
I think so. I had the Premier League fixtures in my calendar, so I was looking. So Thursday against Leicester and then Sunday against Arsenal. Yeah, it will be an interesting match because Arsenal started real well this season. I saw them playing against Fulham. It took them some effort to win, but I also saw against Southampton, and I was really impressed by. And we're taking a real sidestep here about Malacia and Martinez. I already said against your colleague Usman, with Varane next to him, you will see how he will improve because Martinez has the ability to play like he did at Ajax, but he needs somebody to cover him, and you saw it with Varane. And Malacia, how he played against Salah and also against Southampton. Yeah, it was real good to see as a Dutch football fan, how he impressed.
No, absolutely. Rossonari says, "What up, G? Whose spot is Antony? Whose spot is Antony taking?"
I think
Sorry.
Sancho, because he will play from the right.
Well, the thing is, Sancho. United have been using Sancho on the left as well.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that so it's possible that him and Antony and Sancho will alternate. So someone play on the left, someone play on the right. He's definitely going to start. Um, Rashford, and you've got Rashford and Martial. Martial, to be honest, I'm not really counting because he's just injured all the time. So really, it's a question of are United basically going to play Rashford as a number 9 and have him and Martial interchange between themselves, and then play Sancho on the left, and then Antony on the right. That's, I suspect, what Ten Hag will do, or they'll alternate it that way. Is what I think. I could be wrong, but if not, if Martial comes into his team, then I think probably Rashford will be benched. Had we not pushed for the Glaze out, we would not have signed Antony. So that's true. That's true. From Antony's point of view, is that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to a big team and work with someone who will be patient with him, as he also feels Ajax were pricing him out. Shout out to SMB in the chat as well. SMB, Sancho, Martial, and Antony isn't that bad, to be honest. Lots of talent with those three, but let's see the output exactly, because a lot of potential there. So yeah, but one of those signings to put on the bench and so yeah, that's the thing. I think it will be Rashford personally. So, but I could be wrong here. Yeah, Paradise. Unfortunately, Cristiano will leave, and that's the thing, and that's why I think that United definitely need to get another forward. Paradise says De Gea, Malacia, Martinez, Varane, Dallo, Casemiro, Ericsson, Fernandez, Sancho, Martial, Antony is a great team.
I like I said before, I have an uncle. He's also watching this video right now, and he's texting me, and he says that Rashford and Sancho need to compete with Rashford and Sancho need to compete on the left side, and he said that Sancho will be playing from the left because he will come in with to his right foot and will shoot on goal. So that's his opinion. And he says that Rashford and Sancho will be competing for one position on the left.
That's what I have a feeling. I think, like I said, I think if Martial is fit, Martial will be the number 9. I suspect. So sometimes Rashford has played there, so they might interchange. But I suspect that it'll be Martial that will be the number 9. In which case, like you said, Rashford and Sancho compete, and then Antony will come, because Antony is going to play unless he's absolutely horrendous. But you know, we'll see what happens. Somebody says, well, to be fair, Nunes and Tuchemeni are not 100 million worth players either. I think Antony Price is the market. Yeah, I think we have been seeing a lot of 100 million, close to. I mean, for goodness sake, Lukaku. Chelsea spent 100 million on Lukaku last season, if not more than Lukaku, and then a year later they sent him back on loan to Inter. So you know,
it's the craziness of the market at the moment. It's in the Netherlands we would say it's what the fool would pay for.
And unfortunately, the Premier League, or fortunately, I don't know, has so much money in this, and saying that you're seeing even mid-table teams spending. You know, I mean, Chelsea obviously just now. I don't think Wesley Fofana is worth. I think Chelsea spends, if I recall, like 80, 90 million on the guy, on the defender. Is he an 80, 90 million defender? This is Leicester finished 85. They finished, I think, 10th last season. And you're spending so these are the things, you know. So, but anyway, let's go back on topic. So just, and again, like I said, for those who are watching, if you have any questions in the panel, let us know. We'll get to them. Obviously, if you want to support the channel, super chats will be appreciated. How do you think Ajax will be affected with? Let's assume, for example, that they don't replace Antony, but I assume they will. How do you? Because I think Ziyech is linked. I think Ziyech might be coming in. So let's assume, Antony leaves and Ziyech comes in. How do you think Ajax will be affected by that.
Well, at the moment we're not because we played with Berghuis as a winger, and like I said, we won the four first matches of the season.
Mm,
Um, if you look on longer term, it could affect us real hard because when people are coming back from the World Cup, they have already
mm,
played so many matches, and that
mm,
can cause injuries.
mm,
I was looking at the wingers that we have at the moment. So we bought this season Steven Bergwijn from Tottenham. We
mm,
already have Tadic. We
mm,
bought from FC Porto. We bought the son of Sergio Conceição.
mm,
We have Berghuis, and we can also play with Mohamed Kudus on the
mm,
right. And
mm,
we also have a talent, but he's still struggling with some private issues. He's Mohamed Iataren. He played before for PSV Eindhoven.
mm,
Got messed up with the coach Roger Smith, who's now working at Benfica,
mm.
and he was sold by Juventus, loaned to Sampdoria, but it didn't work out. So Ajax rented him until the end of this year. So we have some options, but yeah, of course, uh, they don't have the specific qualities that Antony had. So yeah, I think if you can't replace him, it's a real big disappointment for the fans because yeah, like you said, we're CH is already called into Ajax, but Chelsea wanted a ridiculous amount of 44 million, while we have sold Ziyech at that time for
Wait,
40 million.
Chelsea won 44 million for Ziyech. Really?
Yeah, yeah, and we find it real strange because they have sold Timo Werner to Leipzig for 20 million.
Yeah.
So I think it's part of the poker game that's played right now because,
Mm,
of course, I understand that Chelsea want to see some of the money back they have spent on Ziyech, but
mm,
whenever the deadline is coming and when the clock is ticking, I believe they will talk with Ajax and see what's
yeah.
happening. Because I already heard that CH had two great meetings with Huntelaar, who's part of
Mm,
the technical heart of Ajax.
yeah.
So I believe that you're not going to talk with a player if you're not convinced that a transfer is possible, right? Otherwise,
Mm,
it's a waste of time, especially in this period when you have a lot of talks with managers, agents, you name it.
mm,
So I think for the Eredivisie, it won't hurt us real bad. Like I said, we have a lot of
mm,
replacements, but I believe for Europe, we will feel it because Antony was producing some great assists, and we had with Haller an amazing top scorer. So we're gonna feel that, and I still not convinced about the fact that we have a striker of 19, Brian Broby, and we
mm.
just rented a striker of Pisa, Luca. These guys are too young to be acting on the highest European level. So
Level, yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Fair enough. Thank you. Thanks. That's really insightful. That's really insightful. Um, we can just go some comments as well. Let's have a look. Um, okay. Mo says, and where's all the money you get from selling players going? Um, I
To
think this is
us?
my. I think, and where's all the money you get from selling players going? It's not really about. I don't know. Your thoughts on that, but I suspect it's not so much about the money that you give them. It's like you need time to actually scout the right players to spend the money on.
Well,
As you,
I saw that Ajax spent this transfer window for more than 100 million on players. We bought Bergwijn, we bought Bessie,
mm,
we also bought a defender from Trabzonspor, Kaplan.
mm,
So we have spent money. So
mm,
it's not that we are sitting on it and thinking what to do with this, but so we're still spending money, but we also have the flexibility that we don't have to spend money
mm,
because we have positive numbers. We don't have to sell players to write a positive balance at the end of any book year. So
mm,
uh, I think we are doing quite well with the money we have right now,
mm,
and that's why we can ask so much for Antony because there wasn't yeah, we didn't had to sell Antony,
Mm,
but it
mm.
was the player that wanted to leave. But Ajax and the coach didn't want to lose him.
Um, let's. So I'm just looking at the comments again as well. Kong, so we need a right back and a ball requesting CM. Whether we'll get that now or not, I doubt that. I'd be very surprised if the Glazers spend any more money because we're getting close to now. The Glazers spending 300 million. Glazers spending now because of the process. But if you look, we would have only bought 3 players and said we couldn't get the players we wanted, leaving Ten Hag hanging, and that's fair. We have a front line now that can be nurtured to be insane. Shout out to King Stash in the chat. Shout out to Ilya Dallo, Brad Martinez, Malanska is a great defense. And we will talk about Malacia in a second, actually. Thank you so much for the super chat, Michael. So boring to get to that, but thank you so much. Great player, but now the pressure is on Ten Hag and Antony to perform. Who does the Ajax fan think they will sign because they're swimming in money? That's a good question.
We don't know either. Um, the rumors are going that they are going after to Justin Kluivert, who left the club a couple of years ago for AS Roma.
Mhm.
CH is still the number one, but unless Chelsea won't change the amount of the price that they want, it's not gonna happen. And
Mhm.
if they can't find a good replacement, they won't buy anybody, and
Mm.
they will look in the next window what's possible. They might
Mm.
aim for another Antony in the winter so that he has the time to adjust to the Netherlands and to what Ajax wants from a player. That's what I just read in the article of Mike Verwij.
Mm.
But yeah, we'll see. But it's would be strange if they couldn't find a replacement because the saga with Antony is now carrying on for 2 weeks. So
Mm.
you might have already looked in your scoutings reports what's available, who can be the player that can replace Antony, but I'm not sure.
Thanks for the question, Mike, and thanks for sponsor. I really appreciate it. Richard Nano Yas, I would really love if we could also sign Cody. I assume is that
Gakpo.
Gakpo? I think that'd be really good as well. And from what I'm hearing reports, it's the impression it seems that the two deals were completely independent. So whether the fact that United signed Antony or Gakpo was a backup, they're apparently they're completely independent. So we'll see on this front. It's possible that might be the situation as well. In which case, I can only imagine that that's because Gakpo sounds away like he's not a number 9, is he, Gakpo?
No, he's more a winger.
So it's
He's more
I
a
don't know.
winger coming from the left side.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. I don't know. I think it's a little bit strange if reports are that Ronaldo's going to leave, that United are going to sign now 2 new wingers with already having Sancho, Martial, and Rashford in reserve. But we don't have replace the number 9. I personally think that's a bit strange, personally. But we'll see what happens. Seraph HD says Man City fan here. Even though Antony's 100 million, that is the market right now. But the question is he replacing Sancho, or is he like Richarlison coming off the bench? Corey like Richarlison. I hope he's
Can I
not like. Go on, yeah, go on.
can I add something about the story about the question about the money?
Yeah.
Um, what also is good to know that Ajax needs to sell every year for about 15 million of players to get their balance right. So
Mm,
the fact that we now got 100 million doesn't feel that we got the jackpot because I believe 20% of the amount will go to his former club in Brazil, Sao Paulo, and
okay.
the rest is for us.
Hmm.
So for this year, we already crushed our own record of sending players. So
Mm,
the 15 million that's needed to get the balance right is already in, and
mm,
we need to check for coming season what will happen. But because of the fact that our salary house is that high with Tadic, with Blind, and all these kind of players are earning a certain amount of money, we have to look at the cost and what's coming in.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. And just about and regarding replacing Sancho, I mean, to me, um, I I don't think he would like the way I kind of see it is that like he that because Sancho has been playing. I mean, even against Southampton, he was playing off the left to accommodate Alanga. So Alanga was on the, I think Alanga was on the right and Sancho was on the left, and Rashford was up top. Somehow we won that game. So I do think that I think that Sancho, if Sancho's going to start, because there's a very good chance that he might not, because the coach seems to like Alanga, Martial's there, Rashford's there, etc. So um, I personally think that if everyone is fit and everyone's available, Martial will be the number 9. Um, that Sancho will be the guy on the left, and that Antony will be on the right. That's what I think with Rashford on the bench. But it's very possible, especially because of Martial's injured, that Rashford will actually be the number 9, or be key to be, which I don't think he is, but he'll probably be it. And then Antony will be on the left, and then Sancho on the right, and then Alanga to come in. That's how I think it will work. Um,
Okay.
so, but I could be wrong, but Sanchez played on the left quite a few times now that I think that, and if also him being there, he'll probably alternate with Alanga. So
Mhm.
probably be him and Alanga alternating each other on the left, and then Antony on the right, and Rashford up top. Because, like I said, I don't if United aren't going to get another striker, it seems from what I can see that Ten Hag is prepared to play Rashford as a striker if Martial's not fit.
Mhm.
Uh, we need to be talking about for next year. Do we have a world class or world class potential player in cover? Left back, yes. Centre back, yes. But cover is too old at 27, 29. Right back, Dallo could become world class, 40% chance, possibly. I don't think we can compare Nunes and Tuchmini because those deals were early in the window and 100 was the price. While for us, if the Bournemouth earlier answer would have been, yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
agree with that.
I agree
I
too.
want
Yeah,
to agree with that.
for sure.
You mean like Grealish, right? Because Richie wasn't 100 mil. Yeah, so yeah, Richie was, I think it was 60, was it? It was just for Grealish, wasn't it? Grealish and Darwin Nunes was close to that, I think.
Yeah.
I believe it will be Sancho, Martial, Antony against low block teams. Rashford, Martial, Antony for running in behind. But because Martial's injury prone, Rashford most likely lead line. Exactly. That's I think the key thing to remember. Rashford is injury prone. So actually both Rashford has been pretty injury prone recently. So I don't think for people worrying about where Antony's going to fit, I think people need to realize that like we're only 4 games into the season, and last season, the season before, a lot of players that I mentioned picked up injuries and were out, and we struggled, especially when we came to January. So depth is important. Um, just Michael says, Bigalas can't be right winger anymore. He's better in the midfield role. Please give some minutes to Kudus. He deserves it.
Yeah, it's a discussion it's going on right now. A lot of people are fan of Kudus.
Mm,
To be honest, Berghuis played better when today when he came on the midfield and Tadic went to the right. Tadic
mm,
didn't play that well, to be honest.
mm,
So I agree with Michael about that fact, but
mm,
yeah, Kudus. I think he is also not a right winger. I think
mm,
he's a midfielder.
mm,
But yeah, he had a great preseason, and I agree with Michael that he earned some more playtime, but
mm.
never change a winning team at the moment. So, yeah, sorry.
I just got Beef Bully's going. Shout out to Beef Bully. Yes. I saw a meme about this. I saw about a meme about this because you have, Anthony Martial, got Anthony Alanga. So it's like in training, it's like we're so like Anthony, pass the ball. It's like they're all playing. It's like which one? You know what I mean? And quite feasibly, you could actually play all the 3 Anthonys. You could play Anthony Alanga on the left, Anthony Martial's a number 9, and obviously Brazilian Anthony on the right. I
Yeah,
would pay for it to be one game. I need one game, at least one game, when you could at least play 3 of those 3 of those
but
players together.
we have the same problem with Steven Berghuis and Steven Bergwijn.
Mm,
They have the same first name, and if you translate both names to English, it's Mountain House,
mm,
Mountain Wine. So but the first name is, so when you're watching at the pitch, at the trainings pitch, and you're yelling Stephen, both can react. So what will you do?
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. I just it'd be funny to see if that actually worked on the field as well, where people where it's like, I'm passing you ball, and they're like, and the opponent's like, I wonder which one he's talking about. Is he
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
this
Going like
Anstey?
that.
You can't even separate skin color because some of them look the same. So but yeah, I thought that was funny, so I thought it was cool. So just for a question, just as we draw things to close. Um, how what do you think the impact, or how do you see Antony fitting into this Manchester United team and the impact that he might have on Manchester United Football Club? What do you think that Antony can bring to Manchester United that can change this Manchester United team?
Well, like I said, he's explosive. He is exceptional. I think now when the vibe around United is becoming slowly positive. They had a poor start of the season. Slowly, the players are really understanding what Ten Hag is wanted from them. I believe that Anthony can be the the quick attacker that United is seeking. He's the one that can make defenders cry because of his quickness. And I believe the more the team falls together, he can be one of the architects of the team with Bruno, with uh, with Sancho, and I see also still a role for Rashford. So I believe he can make a great impact on the team. But like I said, it will take some time, and also the results needs to be in favor of United.
Mm,
Otherwise, it could uh, increase the pressure on Anthony, and then I'm real curious how he will handle that.
mm. No, I completely agree. So I think that this the problem about the British press is that, especially if they're foreign players, is that so for example, there's going to be a lot of pressure that's been on. People have already forgotten that Jack Grealish cost 100 million pounds to City, and he's not a regular, and no one's talking about it. So because it is what it is. But as soon as Anthony comes, because of the club and nature of Manchester United and how big a club United are, that
Yeah,
if he has maybe one or two bad games, suddenly it's like, oh, he's a flop. Oh, Dutch talent. Oh, the Eredivisie is not as the same quality as the Premier League. Oh, blah 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 blah, because he's not at the time to adapt. So I think that's going to be a thing, and it'll be a question of his mentality to see whether or not he can continue to push through that and succeed. Fingers
yep,
crossed. The likes of Casemiro and Fred, who are already Brazilian, already there, can at least nurture him and encourage him to not fall into that.
yep.
Um, Mike says, also, let me quickly go back up. All right, so I know Ten Hag play Rashford and strike, but don't you think he's better from the left? Maybe Ten Hag trusts him in the middle. Yeah, I think he's much better on the left. I think it's more like he doesn't have a choice because we don't have a number 9, because I'm not counting Ronaldo because I think he's going, and Marshall gets injured. And Garnacho, he's one of our young players, could possibly play there. I'm hoping that Garnacho actually has a breakout. If he can, he'll probably be playing Garnacho in the Europa League, and I'm hoping praying that Garnacho has like a breakout season for Manchester United in Europa League, so that in the second half of the season, Garnacho can potentially be used in that number 9 position, because he's done very well in under 23s. But that's a hope. That's not a fact. That's a hope. And yeah, Kudus is more of a midfield. I will take him at Liverpool in a heartbeat. Well, Michael, you beat Bournemouth 9-0. So that means that definitely means that you're not getting a manager, you're not getting a midfielder, because FSG saw that game at Anfield, was like, it's all right. I don't need to spend money anymore. be pretty honest, we now have I say 7 world class players. Varane, De Gea. I won't call De Gea world class anymore, but that's my opinion. Bruno, world class. Bruno, I'm not sure about that. Antony, we'll see. CR7, he's going. Casemiro, I'll give you world class, and Sancho, and you have So in my view of those, I would say Varane, yes. De Gea used to be. I'm not 100%. I wouldn't say he's world class, but I say he's still a solid goalkeeper. As Bruno, no, not currently. Antony, we'll see because he's still a new signing. We'll see how he plays in this team first because he's. We need to see the consistency. CR7 is going. He's world class, but he's leaving, so I can't count him. Casemiro, yes, and Sancho. I still got to see more from him at United because he's. So I would say right now, the world class are Casemiro and Varane. Everyone else has still a point to prove, in my personal opinion. So I guess I expand. Like, do you see Ajax doing much business in the next week or so to obviously replace Antony and to get players in and like how do you see Ajax doing much in the next week?
No, I think the Prio signing might be a replacement for Antony, and also some players that aren't that were on the list of getting sold or getting rented. But I don't believe that they will do a lot of business unless things will change. But I think the priority remains at signing a replacement for Antony. I think that's the biggest topic in the club.
Cool. Guys, we're about to round things up. If you've got any questions for me or Ravish, please post them in the comments. We can go through them. Please post them in the comments so we can. So if you don't have any, that's fine. But if you'd like to ask Ravish any questions regarding Antony, Ajax, and just the whole thing, then please do. Speaking of which, how have you found? I mean, you probably checked a few games. How have you found Lisandro Martinez's? How have you found him at Manchester United so far?
So I saw the first match. That was the match against. Help me. The first match of the season was against.
The first match of the season was against Brighton.
Yeah, against Brighton. I found him a little nervous and not the Martinez that I was used to see in Amsterdam, which was totally normal. The fact that he was playing with Maguire in the heart of the defense didn't help him either. The second match against Brentford, I was real disappointed in his performance, but also the fact that Ten Hag already substituted him in during halftime.
Yeah, that was a bit strange.
So that was a bit strange because it's your top signing, so give him more faith. But against Liverpool and against Southampton, I really saw the impressive warrior that we saw in Amsterdam. And also, I think what helped him real well was the fact that Varane was playing next to him. Varane is the one who has more experience in filling up all the gaps that he is leaving behind Martinez, and that gave him the room that he can focus on defending and also starting to be the architect of each attack with the long balls. And the way he was playing in Amsterdam, I saw it in the last two matches. So yeah, I'm real positive about him, like I said before. And the fact I believe that Varane and Martinez are the best couple together. With Maguire, you have not that stability that he needs right now, but for now, I would rate him with a 7.5. I think, yeah.
Fair enough. Max also says, like I said before the season, I don't want to piss off the Ajax fan. I think PSV will win Eredivisie this year, even though Ruud is a rookie manager. Ravish, what are your thoughts on that?
Wow.
Do you think Ruud will say what's up?
Well, Ruud needs to first glue all the pieces of the defeat of PSV against Rangers that they didn't manage to go in the Champions League again.
True. It's true.
So, but in the Eredivisie, they won today with 6-1 against Excelsior. So, I think it will be a real interesting competition this season.
Mm,
PSV has only one problem, and that's that Luc de Jong has ruled out with an injury for some weeks.
mm,
So I think that can make a difference in the whole battle for the trophy. But the season is just started, so it will be it will be an interesting, and it will be a real annoying season with the World Cup popping up between
that's
the
true.
competition.
That's
So
true.
yeah, we'll see. It's the opinion of the fan, but yeah, I'm realistic enough, and I would say if we didn't have the squad, that PSV might be one of the yeah the opponents that can defeat us, but
Mm.
it's still too early to say. But of course, I will always say that my club will win the title.
Yeah, you always go. See, that's the thing about it, is that at least you can say that. Whereas as a United fan for so long, that's the very thing that I can't say. That's which has been a big problem. Michael says Ajax PSGSV will be an amazing battle this year. Can't wait. Final in transition, so it's between Ajax and PSV,
Yeah,
and I don't agree. And Michael says another comment says, what do you? Let's come actually up here. Actually, Um, what do you think of Ajax UCL group?
I'm really happy that we're gonna play against Liverpool. The last time that Liverpool went to Amsterdam, it was during the COVID period, so we couldn't see them live as a fan. So I saw it on TV. It is an interesting group.
Mm,
It's not an easy group that I would say that we're gonna qualify as the number one. I said
mm,
it yesterday in the We Talk Ajax Twitter space that I believe that Ajax will become the second after Liverpool.
mm,
I think Rangers will surprise us and they
mm,
will go to the Europe League, and
mm,
that Napoli will become fourth because I don't know much about the Italian football and especially
mm,
about Napoli.
mm,
The only thing I know is that they have lost Dries Mertens to Galatasaray in Turkey.
mm,
Um, for Rangers, yeah, we saw them against PSV. It's
mm,
not that they are a real amazing team, but they have mentality.
mm,
They have the kick and rush football like we are used to of either Rangers and Celtic. The only thing that was good from Rangers is Calvin Bassey. We are really happy with him.
mm,
So I think he will give Schreuder the needed information
mm,
to defeat them. And Liverpool, yeah, it's a great opponent, and we hope that we can take our revenge on Nunez because last season he kicked us out in Amsterdam
yeah, yeah, yeah.
with
Well,
Benfica, and now hopefully we can turn it around.
well, fingers crossed. He's got certainly got quite the temperament. I'm sure a lot of
Yeah,
Liverpool fans will say that.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Ravish, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it, especially on such a short notice. I think
No
maybe
worries, mate.
maybe a bit late, maybe later might come for another, maybe a brief show, just having like a tactical analysis of how Antony will play and fit into Manchester United squad at a latter point. But I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everyone who's obviously watching the stream. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
all the
much.
questions, guys.
Make sure you like the video and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter X. Where can I find you, Ravish?
At Twitter at Ravish Sitaldin.
And I'll just put this barrel down so that people can see that. If people can't, as you said, at Ravish Titalin. Is that, did I say that right?
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Awesome. Right. Thanks so very much, guys. Have a nice day, everyone, or evening, and cheers.